All right, round of 8, Roval, Dega, Martinsville. We're going to break down all 3. How would you describe next 3?
Oh, it's straight chaos. It's a haunted house. I mean, I think Gabe Hart
haunted
said
house.
it last
I like
year.
that. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's not mine originally. Like I said, I think it's Gabe Hart's. But you go from the Roval, right, which is, I think with the restart rules at road courses, it's kind of spread us out so they're not as chaotic. But you go to Talladega, and for us, we have the spec engines with the Ilmore, so it's somewhat similar to the Cup racing where we kind of get gridlocked and it's hard to progress your lines forward, and you're kind of at the mercy of the field, right? So that race is really determined by how fast your truck is in qualifying. But my mindset for the Roval in Talladega is like, obviously we're going to go for the win, go for points, and try to points our way in. But, I mean, you can't be scared because everybody's going to be scared. Everybody's going to be nervous, right? So you got to always be on offense and have the ball in your hand and make the plays, right? And not go into Martinsville needing a must-win. I think that's the craziest thing to put the craziest spot to put yourself in, because you've seen Martinsville both in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, right? You get a yellow inside of 30 or so laps to go, and it's just jungle rules. All etiquette goes out the window, right? And I'm not saying I'm a proponent of that or I think it's cool, but that's just how the culture has been for a lot of these things. So you got to just put yourself in a position to not fall a victim to that or participate in it. And hopefully, like I said, we enter Martinsville not being in a must-win and being right there on the cusp, if not in it. Or, I mean, already advanced from a win or a good run at, at Roval and Talladega.
All right, trucks going to the Roval for the first time, but you've run the Roval. So let's break the Roval down a little bit. Help me out with what you expect from behind the wheel. Kind of a combination, right? We have that infield section, the high bank section. This is a bumper cam from the Cup race here. So this is a Cup car heading down into turn 1. Here's a start finish, pretty heavy braking, left-hander heading into the infield.
Yeah, Steve, there's some really big elevation changes. You see there's a crest here. You gain some grip. It falls away here on the backside of the wall for turn 2, but you gain it right here. And I'm trying to find the grip as the elevation changes. And you cannot miss that apex to the right for turn 3. Now for turn 4, it's kind of cool because you can just change your shape for how you exit the corner. For me, I run here in Xfinity, also in a Legend car. In a Legend car, that corner is wide open, so it's pretty sketchy. But this corner for me, I only ran here in 23, so I've never run here before.
Because this is new.
This is
the
all
hairpin,
new, right? So for me, I think about it like turn 11 at Coda, right? You got to start your hands early and can't miss the apex to the left and try to drive straight onto the banking. That corner is so wide, so it's so easy to get lost of like, where's the corner, and you got to make a direct U-turn here. So
underpowered in the trucks. Do you expect this to be long enough to get a good draft? Will you get a tow down to this braking zone?
I mean, every straightaway for our trucks is like that, especially onto the front stretch over there. But into this back stretch, right, I believe we'll be close to first or second gear here with the rev limiters and all those things with the Ilmores. But man, like you said, the draft is going to matter, especially with how low we will probably be to the ground, depending on guys' different pitches and whatnot, but definitely the draft will matter.
And then right here, this is the corner, I call it, made famous by Jimmy Johnson with the big spin out underneath Martin Truex Jr., but they have changed the curbing a little bit. I thought it actually made it for a better corner, but that's a lap at the Roval. So you think the trucks, are they going to look much like what we've seen in Xfinity? I mean, basically, I know their aero is different, so does that change at a road course tremendously?
I think yes and no. I think at the Watkins Glen, the trucks were the fastest of the whole weekend, right? So with that place being so fast-paced, right, with our downforce, it just netted out to us being faster. The thing about the Roval is, right, our splitter rules are different, our pan rules are different, so our splitters are giant compared to the Xfinity cars. So it's going to be a risk versus rewards for cutting the curbs, cutting the turtles, and seeing how much you can get without potentially, hurting the nose and knocking the nose off of it. So that'll be the big difference.
So patience at Roval to stay off the curbs. Let's move on to the next. Talladega, in my mind, in the truck seems all about patience because you guys are locked to the bottom and you're locked in line. How much of it is aggression, or how much of it do you have to tell yourself just to stay in line until the opportunity kind of presents itself?
Yeah, I think for me, Steve, the thing I've learned in the Truck Series, especially at plate racing, is it's hard to pull out a line and make progression, right? It's not like the old Cup racing, right? The only way you're going to get progression is just staying dedicated to your line and just getting the person in front of you going, and that's the only way it's going to progress forward. So there's a locking bumper rule in our series, right? So you can only do it for a certain portion off a restart, and otherwise you just got to light tap. You can't lock bumpers. So for Talladega, right, it's going to be just trying to progress your line forward, but we're probably going to have a green flag stop in the last stage, so can't mess that up. For me,
you don't do many, right? Like over the course of the year, you do very few green flag stops. So do you do that on the sim? Do you like make it? You don't get any practice,
right?
Just qualifying. So literally, it's cold water, trying it for the first time.
For sure. I mean, for me, I use it on iRacing a lot of time just for practice. But for me, you go to Kansas or Texas, right? You get those long stage 3s, and that's potentially where we get our green flag stops. But to your point, we almost never get them. And for me, I sped on the stop actually last fall in the playoff race.
Not that it's in the back of his mind. He's already remembering a year ago.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I had a chance at Daytona and nailed it. So, I mean, that was good for me to get realigned for what I needed to do. But I think that's just a scenario of just not taking yourself out of the game. And that's been my mindset for the entire playoffs of, like, can't speed, can't give yourself penalties, can't damage your truck. Even if you're not fast enough or running where you need to be running, you can't make it worse. So I think that's magnified at Talladega because you can't just outdrive people. It's just who's around you.
And then for me, my favorite weekend of the year is Martinsville. It's my favorite track. I think it's the best spot in the playoffs because it depends on who goes to the championship race. It's hard to be friends and good. Those don't go well together at Martinsville. How do you approach Martinsville, and how do you approach your relationship, like, in the garage area? Are you friendly with people? Do you hang out with guys? Like what does a weekend look like, and then how does that change when you go into the pressure cooker of the last race of this round?
Yeah, for sure, Steve. I would say I'm definitely a cordial guy. I think I try to balance the line between, being respectful, right, and not being overly friendly and allowing myself to get taken advantage of. I think for me, you got to, at the end of the day, look back at how you compete, right, and feel like you had some integrity with how you go about things. That's the way I look at it, right? So if I go and junk a guy to make the Final Four, I mean, sure, on paper, right, I went and did that, but hopefully when I'm done driving a long time from now, I'm not going to look at that in the same light as if I did it, what I feel like is the right way. So in my mind, right, you got to put yourself in position to have a clean race, and if you got to take advantage of it and move a guy out the way, so be it. But I think there's a difference between that and just going over the top that we've seen kind of years over years. So for me, Martinsville will be a big place to go and get a win. It will be my first short track win, and I've actually tried to run the late model stock race there over the years, run there in an Xfinity car. Love that racetrack, and for us, it's the 21st anniversary of the Hendrick plane crash is the day of the truck race, so definitely got some more sentimental motivation for that race as well.
Well, there you have it. If you're looking for a guy to cheer for in the Truck Series, cheer for our man Rajah. 3rd year, still in the playoffs, drives for Spire. Going into the round of 8, man, good luck.
Thanks, Steve.